A Khoi-San group, led by King Khoebaha Calvin Cornelius III, has given Parliament and government until today to vacate the premises. An eviction notice was placed at the Visitor Centre of Parliament on Monday, but it was later removed by the police. Cornelius gave Parliament officials notice that the Khoisan people have seceded from South Africa to establish the sovereign state of Good Hope. But the Khomani San and other formations have distanced themselves from the secession and the actions of King Cornelius. Meanwhile, the National Khoi-San Coloured Consultative Conference, the NCC 2018, is set to take place during the week of the 21st to the 24th of September in Cape Town. Now, the aim of this conference is to promote unity amongst the Khoi-San Coloured collective and to lay the policy foundation to map the way forward for a coherent future of the First Nation in South Africa. Joining us now in studio is the convener of the National Khoi-San Coloured Consultative Conference 2018, Dr Leonard Martin. Doctor, very good morning to you.
Good morning and good morning to the viewers.
Now, as the national convener of the Khoi-San Coloured Consultative Conference 2018, are you in agreement with the King Khoebaha that seceded from South Africa?
You know, Elvis, I think we are all in agreement in the Khoi-San movement that we will not permit distractions to take the front seat. We are dealing with the systemic effects and the impact of colonization on the Khoi-San and coloured people. Mm-hmm. This has to be foregrounded because we are not involved in tricks or dramatic events. Mm-hmm. We're dealing with a system who is in control. Mm-hmm. Why does it appear that it is an imperative to exclude, to marginalize the Khoi-San and coloured people within the South African system? Mm-hmm. We're dealing with the full impact of colonization, and the Consultative Conference, as its name clearly states, will be to consult on the various aspects of identity, unity, culture, in bringing about a holistic approach to positioning the Khoi-San narrative. Our narrative is that of restoration. It is not a bag of tricks. It deals with the entire system that we have come to know, whether it's through the process of domination and the dynamics of racial dissonance, where people have been forced to accept an identity for which the state is still the guarantee. Coloured identity, for example, has been re-inscribed within the democratic constitution as one of those impacts that we have to deal with. So, to put our emphasis on unity and the dimensions of the development of leadership are key issues for the Khoi-San narrative. Mm-hmm.
Now, you've mentioned distractions, you've also mentioned a bag of tricks, but I'm not the spokesperson of King Khoebaha, but I'm sure that he would argue that, you know, self-determination is part of our constitution, as prescribed in Section 235, and it's also internationally recognized. So why is it then that, as the Consultative Conference, you're not in agreement with him?
Well, our narrative is that of restorative justice against the continuing dynamic and impact of colonization in South Africa. We have to be frontal. The liberal democratic system that South Africa is today has not resolved the national question. And the underbelly of the national question are the Khoi-San peoples, the Khoi-San coloured peoples. I mean, Elvis, the issue is we are still talking about our placement in the history of South Africa, Southern Africa, Africa. Mm-hmm. Our liberal democratic system is nowhere near to resolving this. And let us also be frank. This is not just a matter for the Khoi-San and the coloured people. It envelops the whole of South Africa. Mm-hmm. So when we say our narrative is that of restorative justice, we are not dealing only with the Cape. We are dealing with South Africa.
Now, the King indicated that he's seceding on behalf of the Khoi-San. Was there any consultations with the Khoi-San formations in order for him to do what he did?
We have said from the beginning, looking at the years of interaction and engagement with government, that there is zero effect in terms of the engagement since the onset of liberal democracy in this country. The question is, increasingly, it appears that it's an imperative at the heart of the system to reproduce exclusion of the Khoi-San, over-racialization of the Khoisan and colored people. And the reason for our restorative narrative has to do with resolving the underbelly, the silent aspect of the formation of the South African state and the impact it has had in denying the identity, the sense of belonging to the Khoisan and colored people.
Is it possible that this succession bid could have an adverse effect on the NCC 2018?
We have absolutely no fear about this impact. In fact, we are drawing lessons from this act of secession. In fact, it has sharpened up our understanding of the workings of the system, that what we are dealing with is who is in control of this country and what do they derive from systemic exclusion of whole groups of people, at the center of which are the Khoisan colored people.
Will it have an impact on the quest for unity that the Khoi-San is seeking, perhaps?
We do not fear that at all. In fact, we believe this is a moment, of transition in bringing the different dimensions of leadership, from the cultural to the economic to the political, into one house. And that is the objective of the Consultative Conference. The emphasis is on consultation, and that consultation will take place within the context of restorative justice.
What will happen now, you think, after the king is now seceded from South Africa, and he's also sent a notice to Parliament and established a sovereign state of Good Hope? Will it effectively perhaps put in place something that government should look at in relation to the Khoi-San, that they need to have their own country, so to speak?
Well, South Africa is our country. It has been like that since time. We are not from any other part of the world. We are as African as any other African group. And I think it's about time that the narrative of national cohesion incorporate this, because it's not going away. I may not be your type of African, but the Khoi-San colored people are an African people.
Now, the NCC 2018 is taking place in September. How far are you on track?
We are on track, and consultation remains at the heart of the fine-tuning, the dialogue. All measures are being put in place to resolve any bumps or hitches. So preparations are full steam, and we are having almost a complete support to have all in the House, Khoi-San Coloured, to begin to address, resolve, and chart a policy process forward.
Is King Khoebaha, is he invited to?
He has never been excluded.
And the National Khoi-San Coloured Consultative Conference is probably one of the largest conferences ever held in this country.
Absolutely.
Is that the way forward for the First Nation?
We believe at the center are the democratic premises to resolve this process of ongoing liberation. It is not a one-stop process. It is a process that will go to the heart of what actually has led to certain constructions in this country, and how we are meant to liberate ourselves from those who are in control and who benefit from exclusion and marginalization of the people of this country.
The land hearings is currently on the way in this country, across the country in fact. Will that be part and parcel of the discussions and on top of the agenda for the NCC 2018?
As I've said, and we repeat this often, that the process at the heart of the connecting of our history with modern South Africa is that of restorative justice. So all discussions relating to land form part of the core issues, both of identity, culture, and the way forward.
Land expropriation without compensation?
Well, put it this way. The Khoisan are the prime victims of modern South Africa. Where does compensation come in?
Dr. Martin, I thank you so much for your time and joining us here in studio.
Thank you very much.
That was the convener of the National Khoi-San Coloured Consultative Conference, Dr. Leonard Martin, joining us here in studio. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back after that.